So, welcome everyone. This run got into the schedule like last minute, like not even half an hour ago, and I hope I can present you something with this game now. This is a boss rush ROM hack that was made by Credia. We are using smiley face, by the way, as our symbol of choice. And it's basically just killing all bosses, not always under the circumstances of a normal speedrun, but much rather as a challenge for casual players. It's also on romhacking.net, I believe, like the patch for it. So if you wanna play it, give it a go, it's definitely worth a try and a challenge. You see already, it's quite different from the normal game, and you talk to Ellie and get a level up. Japanese language was chosen for it to be in 60 FPS, because there is nothing really you need to read. And the only thing that you need to be able to read is translated into English, which is at the very end. So right off the bat we are going to equip the weapon. I'm going to equip the weapon that I use for the speedrun too, because it makes no difference here. So first boss is Shadowkeeper. It's pretty much like in any percent, just that we are one level higher, but damage wise that makes no difference. First of all we have to kill his two claws here, which he gives us bad RNG because he walks towards us. We want him to slash like this. And as you might have noticed, I did not equip an armor even though we have one. And maybe I should have done that. Let's actually go into the menu and equip the armor. Because this guy actually deals some damage. We're going to do this and then equip that because we will need it later for the final boss of this game. Why? I'm going to explain later when we are there. So now that we killed his two claws, we are pretty much back on track for any percent strats and just kill off his mask, except that we are already a level higher again. Our attack of choice is the slicer here because it grants us huge invulnerability frames when we are doing it, and it's dealing decent damage. So to note on this boss is that it actually lags a lot. So you have to kinda adjust your movement with the slicer timing to not get hit by him and stuck inside. And that's already the first boss. Off to the Parasite. We gain a few level ups because that's kinda what we need to fight this boss. We get a little healing item here, and we are going to equip our next weapon of choice. By any percent it would still be the same weapon, but for now, because this is a boss rush ROM hack, we are going to equip this one. So first phase of Parasite is quite straightforward. There are 6 holes, 3 on each side, and you have to hit the little spawn that peeks out of it several times. It is hit based and not damage based, so you don't really need to worry about what level you are here. Just to note is that the spawns in the middle are kinda inferior to the ones in the edges since they are somewhat harder to hit. So in a normal speedrun you would count damage on him because you don't want to kill him prematurely, and he has 110 HP, so we do that to farm the little spawns he just dropped there where we gained a level up until we are level 10, and then 10 more spawns for any percent. But now, since we gain levels for free in this hack, we just want to kill him, and he's giving us actually good RNG for any percent, but bad RNG for this run. So this would be amazing for a normal run, but it's quite horrible for this. He's showing off, isn't he? So where I'm standing is a little sweet spot because he can't hit you there with his dash out, and as you can see this is quite an efficient leveling spot because I already gained 2 levels inside this fight. And I'm not even close to killing him. Well, he's really not giving us anything. this continues, we don't even need the level ups from the ROM hack anymore because we get it off of him. Oh, now we are talking. So the slicer here again is the best damage for this guy, since it hits him multiple times. So this is the first really heavy RNG part in the any percent run too, where you start this with level 4 and you want to be level 11 after the fight with killing him. So this could take quite a while if you're unlucky. Usually the fight takes around 7 minutes, including phase 1, but it can take up to like 10 minutes if you're unlucky. So sometimes world record pace is already decided at this boss fight, and this boss fight is the next one we grind in any percent. So the intended mechanic is if you fall off the edge in this fight, the fight is just going to restart. But if you kill him and then fall off the edge, you get the experience from the guy, but you also restart the fight, and this guy gives actually 500 experience, which is a lot. This fight is actually the best experience per minute in terms of grinding spots in this game. And that is the attack you want to see in any percent, him diving, because then you can do the so-called setup kills, where you just slide into him depending on the level you are at. You're starting this with level 12 all the way up to level 18, since after that it's not really RTA viable anymore for RNG. Since as you see, him dropping is actually quite unlikely. I'm walking left and right to despawn him earlier a bit, which is also an any percent strat. This guy has 80 health, you also need to count damage and be aware of damage rolls that you can do on each level while grinding this boss. The Taz actually starts this fight with level 9. So this is kind of a Taz strategy here, just that it is more of a casual playthrough. Next boss is the Stormkeeper. Right here, in any percent we would be level 18. Yes, level 18 indeed. That might seem a bit high if you played this game casually before, but as I said, the bird boss is the best XP grind in the game, so naturally we will abuse that as long as it's worth it. And most of the time, if you see someone speedrunning this game, they will just reset after the bird boss, because they will end up minutes behind their actual PP already, depending on how good their PP is already. So this is the first time we need to switch the weapon, not because it's stronger or inferior, but rather because of the element. And that is something that is not really explained in the game by itself, and neither in the guide that came with the big box of this game. That weapons have an element, and most of the bosses actually have a 75% resistance towards every element. So we just switched to a weapon, which is also our strongest weapon in this case, that is non-elemental. So and this boss can usually take up to like 20 seconds if he decides to stay up, which he gave us good RNG this time. The next boss, Dark Moth. For any percent we are usually around close to hitting 19, maybe sometimes 19 here. So for this we are level 15, I believe, and we are going to switch to Neo's Fang. Why not to the strongest weapon? Well, I just told you about elemental resistances for bosses. It's the same for this guy. The first phase, unfortunately, it couldn't be made to cut it out of the ROM hack. We're going to destroy one crystal, but yeah, we couldn't do that to cut it out of the ROM hack, so we have to go through this. It's essentially an auto-scroller now. I destroyed one crystal because those crystals actually cause a lot of lag in the game, and destroying one gets rid of 90% of the lag. Destroying a second one is around 99% of the lag. Destroying a third one gets rid of all the lag. But since I'm not really that high in a level, and you saw that thing dealt almost 20 damage to me, I'm rather not destroying them. When you're doing this any percent and you're kind of in a high level, you can destroy all of them since they will do pretty much no damage to you, and it's like fun to do, quote unquote. The second fight is a cadet fight. So this cadet will always stop if he's a multiple of 10 pixels away from you on either of both coordinates X or Y. So it's really easy to manipulate for attacks. But it's really tedious for any percent since he can do that teleporting around for quite a while, and that wasn't even long there. And crits don't really matter because it's hit based again. I see in chat who made this hack. A guy called Credia. He's also the guy who made how's it called? Oh, how's the program called? TerraCraft. It's basically a level editor for this game. And that guy, I can assure you, he has knowledge about this game. He reads the code of this game like a book. He knows pretty much everything, and he also has a wiki page kind of where he stores all the information that is in this game. And even though the speedrun community is quite unknowledged about this game, we still learn stuff from him. So unfortunately this boss is pretty tedious, but since it's a boss rush ROM hack, we still have to do it. In any percent you kind of hope for a crit on this guy, since it's a one-shot and then you don't need to do any of those cycles, but right here it's, I think, a 5 cycle if you are not too unlucky with your damage rolls. And there we go, that's it. This might take a while now, because there are quite some level ups coming up until 22, I think. This is actually higher than for any percent, since we fight Bloody Mary on level 20 in any percent. But up until you reach level 25 in this for this fight, it doesn't really matter, since all of your damage rolls are going to be 1 to 4, except for elemental weapons, they are 1 to 2. So Bloody Mary is kind of a weird boss, since you might wonder, I don't deal any damage to this boss and I haven't had any trouble so far with this game, I might be horribly underleveled. Well, it turns out that Quintet actually messed up there, since according to the code, stats just underflow in this fight, and you're actually supposed to deal way earlier, way more damage. Wait, I was actually on. I should go to this weapon. Elemental damage again. So you have to get Bloody Mary on screen to make her cycle start. So yeah, up until you hit a certain threshold, which is at 25, you won't get past that overflow and don't deal any damage to her. It's quite unfortunate. So another big RNG part, she can waste easily up to a minute. This is the best pattern because we can just keep on attacking her. I believe it was 490 HP she has, but let's say, to be safe, around 500. If you stand in this triangle for around a second, you can cut that attack short. It's quite neat. Another thing to mention if you've never heard about this game, unfortunately the Enix office of North America was shut down because of bad sales in general for most of their games. So right before this game actually came out there, they had to close their office and the North America actually never got this gem. So now she's teleporting, that's the worst pattern, since she can do that forever and then just start another teleporter out of this one. Yep, there's another teleporting pattern. I have to be careful, I will heal myself once. Okay, there we go. We killed her. So the next boss is going to be the fish. And for that we are going to equip our strongest weapon. The fish is kind of a gimmicky boss, since if you're getting too close to him, he will just run away. So you have to kinda wait until he's very close and then use your fastest attack. The first hit is actually the hardest. Okay, usually he attacks if he comes closer to you, and that's usually your point where you can attack him, but he doesn't seem to be aggressive today. For any percent you're level 21 for this fight with a different weapon that is weaker than this, and we already killed him. Next boss, Hitoderon. It's not even worth to mention in any percent, even though it's a super hard fight. Most of the top runners died to it at least once or twice. And it's a matter of seconds to kill this boss. Oh, that might be bad. Okay, I avoided it. Unfortunately, you can't go into the menu in water, so I couldn't switch my weapon there. So the starfish that comes from above, you can hit it twice, but only on the first time he drops. Which is quite weird, I don't understand why that is the case. And I messed it up. So now I need to do this. And if that guy drops on your head, or if they shoot you in any percent, that's lethal. It usually means you're dead. Now for Megatron. Megatron is just the hardest boss flat out. No arguing about that. Oh, I don't know why he got attacked there. That was weird. I think because I'm going to level up now. Yeah, to level 25 I think. Yep, there we go. Oh, and he starts attacking. That's really bad. Now I need to avoid that. And every attack he does has a different type of flag. So it can be really difficult to actually dodge his attacks. I'm also going to equip an armor here now for once. And I'm going to heal up. Because this guy is no joke. So this attack, if it hits you, it usually means you're dead in any percent, and it happens a lot that you just drop a slicer here because of the lag. What a lot of new runners especially aren't aware of is that when text is on screen, you can't buffer your inputs, at least most of them. The D-pad still works, but the face buttons usually don't, so you kinda have to repress them when text is on screen. Okay, we got him. Now just little spawns, killing them, and we are off to Gaia Stone, which is the pre-area to the final area. In any percent we fight this boss on level 28, excuse me, 29 is the safe strat. On 28 with the best armor in the game, the Hero Pike, and with the red armor which grants you 13 additional strength. But it also reduces your HP by 90, which is a lot. And because of that, this boss has a chance in any percent to one-shot you with 210 damage when you have 199 max health. You can do like level 29 as I said, or picking up 3 extra potions to make sure he can't one-shot you. But still, this boss is quite a threat. Oh, the text got me actually, and interrupted the level up. Now we have to watch this. And yeah, because of the 60 FPS in this game, quite some bosses are actually lagging, especially this one. What I always tell new people to this game is, if they want to get good at Gaia, they have to fight him in the PAL version, because there is no lag. So even though it runs at 50 FPS, it will feel like it's running at 70 or whatever. It's just... it's something. You have to actually see it. Oh, he actually gives me the attack. Oh, I also have to equip another armor. So now we are equipping the strongest weapon in the game. You get that by default by just playing the game, you can't miss out on it. So there is something that is actually in the code of the game, but it wasn't used in the original game. You see that my health actually refills here, and that is an ability of the hero pike. Oh, okay, any percent strats don't work for this. Good to know that. I did a little manipulation here to make sure to hit him after him doing that 3 times. Which is just always standing as close to him as possible except for the first one, then he will stop at the bottom of the arena where you can hit him. So yeah, this boss has roughly 1000 HP. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you about the hero pike. You see that I get healed? That's a function of the hero pike that got turned off in the original game. Because I think just the developers thought it's going to be a bit too much, which actually it is. And he's showing off strong with a laser. So, oh, I just ran into that. I double tapped accidentally. So after he's shooting 4 orbs, slightly delayed after the last one is going off screen, he can shoot a red laser which is lethal in any percent. After 2 orbs, he usually does it immediately. Like right there, I'm waiting until they're off screen and then slice. No laser though. That one is unlikely. That one is rather likely. But he didn't do it. Oops, getting burned. Dude, he's having such a bad position there. Could you come to the center of the room, please? Okay, here we go. And that laser is usually what can kill you in any percent, since it can be a one-shot. And you can't do anything, you're just standing there stabbing him, trying to get your hits in to kill him, and then random laser out of nowhere. You kinda have to pray that he doesn't hit you. What I'm going to do here is I'm holding the item button and then releasing my block button so I can heal in time to not get hit by his laser. Because if I don't block, it's going to reduce my health by half every tick. But when you block, you see it's like 1 to 4 damage. So right there, you just hope that he doesn't hit you at any percent. But since this is also for casual players, it's not as big of a deal if they hit you actually. You can tank like 5 hits and still don't die if you have full health. So there's the laser after the 2 orbs. Oh, nope, there it wasn't. Man, he's giving you a show. Four orbs, slightly delayed, and no laser, but the big one. Would you please come down? Okay, thank you. I'm trying to stand slightly off-centered of his little hole in his belly, I think. Because then, at least I assume that you are less likely to get hit by a random laser that can appear, like this one. Oh, another thing to mention for those red lasers. He's making this little shine on the ground. That is actually not that one that hits you, but there are 3 little explosions that you just saw there that I ran into, because it was a red laser out of nowhere. Those 3 explosions are actually what causes damage to you. This is really not good RNG. And another laser. But I think we're close to being done here. And another one. Usually in any percent, if he gives you that laser twice already, you're going to say your RNG isn't as good anymore. since one laser wastes around 10 seconds. Calm down, please, I need to kill you now. Oh, another laser. Is this fight really going on for almost 5 minutes now? This is quite insane. This can be done in like less than 2 minutes. But I guess enjoy the music, because this music is really good. Oh, I don't have bulbs. I didn't pay attention to that. He gave me a lot of lasers. And I didn't even heal for all of them. Or most of them, rather. Let's heal full. Why not? Oh, he was one hit away, and that's time. Yep, that was the Terranigma boss rush ROM hack, but there's one last thing before we can finish this off. Even though technically the run is over. So this is just the normal text from the game, where the lighter Gaia speaks to you. And after this, when I get teleported out, you can see a little extra that is not in the game but in this ROM hack. Also, thanks for the GG, guys. I hope you enjoyed this game, or this run. If you enjoy the game, what you just saw, you should maybe play the game if you haven't already. It's quite an amazing game casually. So if you ever wondered what is here in this area, because this looks suspicious, really? Well, the creator of this ROM hack thought so too, so he put a little house here. And what is in this house? Credia, the guy who made the hack, and he has a word for you. Did you enjoy my hack? Enjoy the credits. And that's basically it. Those are the credits of the game, and they are really good. And they have all the fields in the game. Estimate suddenly became 26 minutes. Yeah, I gave a 25-minute estimate because usually you can finish this in around 20, but I got some pretty nasty RNG on some bosses, especially the last one. So excuse me for being 36 seconds and 29 milliseconds overestimate. But yeah, thank you for having me here. And next run should be DKZ3, right? I hope I'm not mistaken.